Exactly 40 years after Diego Maradona's legendary performance against England at the 1986 World Cup. That was the match where St. Diego scored twice, one unforgettable solo run through a sea of defenders, and of course, the infamous Hand of God. Now, exactly 4 decades later, Lionel Messi and Argentina took the field at another World Cup in North America. And the question on everyone's mind was simple. Could Messi deliver another historic performance of his own? After a brilliant display in the opening match, all eyes were on El Pulga as Argentina prepared to face Austria. A tougher challenge than Algeria, at least on paper. David Alaba and his teammates had already won their opening game. Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record had been equaled. Messi needed just one more goal to break it. Confidence was flowing through him. But let's be honest. He was nearly 39 years old. Scoring in consecutive World Cup matches at that age is never easy. Especially after missing a golden opportunity right at the start of this one. As Argentina stepped onto the pitch at Arlington last night, Lionel Scaloni's side carried a 7-match unbeaten streak at the World Cup. They had won 5 and drawn 2. Even more impressively, they had scored 3 goals in each of their previous 3 matches. The reigning world champions were aiming for another victory that would secure qualification to the knockout stage. It would also mark the 10th time in the last 11 World Cups that Argentina advanced beyond the group stage. On the other side stood an Austrian team coached by Ralf Rangnick. They too had started strongly with a win over tournament newcomers Jordan. Their form had been excellent, with 10 victories under Rangnick. But this was their biggest test yet. The team ranked 22nd in the FIFA rankings was about to face the #1 team in the world. Historically, Austria had struggled against South American opposition. In 10 meetings, they had managed just 1 victory, alongside 4 draws and 5 defeats. Still, history was calling. A win over Argentina would give Austria consecutive opening victories at a World Cup for the first time since 1982. Their hopes rested on relentless energy, disciplined organization, and growing confidence. The referee blew the whistle. Argentina kicked off and immediately surged forward like a storm. Just 4 minutes into the match, Austria's defense received an early warning. A sharp touch from Messi carried the ball out of midfield pressure. Thiago Almada then slipped a perfectly weighted through ball into the penalty area for Lautaro Martinez. Both Philipp Lienhardt and goalkeeper Alexander Schläger threw themselves into desperate challenges to prevent Lautaro from getting his shot away. The referee paused. VR was checking the incident. And moments later, the decision arrived. Penalty for Argentina. Of course, there was only one man who could take it. Standing over the spot kick was Lionel Messi. In the 9th minute, history was waiting. One goal would see him surpass Miroslav Klose and become the outright top scorer in World Cup history. Messi began his familiar run-up. Calm. Measured. A slight hesitation. Then the strike. Oh no! Alexander Schläger guessed correctly. The Austrian goalkeeper punched the air in celebration. There was no roar from the crowd. No net rippling behind him. The chance was gone. Messi buried his face in his hands. Argentina would have to wait. Austria had escaped. And suddenly, Rangnick's men came alive. Austria sensed an opportunity. Rather than retreating into a defensive shell, they pushed forward with growing belief. And in the 21st minute, they nearly stunned the world champions. Konrad Laimer burst down the right flank before whipping a dangerous cross into the box. Michael Gregoritsch rose highest and powered a header toward goal. For a split second, the Austrian supporters were already celebrating. But Emiliano Martinez reacted brilliantly. The Argentine goalkeeper stretched every muscle in his body to push the ball away with a spectacular save. It was a reminder that even when Messi wasn't deciding the game at one end, Argentina still possessed world-class quality at the other. The match gradually settled into a fierce tactical battle. Austria remained disciplined and compact. Argentina continued to dominate possession. Yet clear-cut opportunities became increasingly difficult to create. Messi drifted deeper into midfield, looking to orchestrate attacks and pull Austrian defenders out of position. Every touch from the Argentine captain drew gasps from the crowd. Every forward pass carried the feeling that something special might happen. And eventually, it did. In the 38th minute, Argentina produced a move worthy of champions. Enzo Fernandez collected possession in midfield and immediately spotted an opening between Austria's defensive lines. The Benfica midfielder delivered a precise forward pass into the path of Thiago Almada. Without hesitation, Almada slipped the ball toward Messi. One touch. Two touches. The Austrian defenders scrambled desperately to close him down. But they were already too late. Messi shifted the ball onto his favored left foot and unleashed a low strike toward the far corner. The shot flashed beyond Alexander Schlager. This time, there would be no save. This time, history could not be denied. Goal for Argentina. Goal for Lionel Messi. The stadium erupted. Messi sprinted toward the corner flag with his arms spread wide, as thousands of Argentine supporters exploded in celebration. His teammates rushed toward him. The bench emptied. Even Lionel Scaloni punched the air in delight. Because this was more than just the opening goal of the match. This was goal number 17 in World Cup history for Lionel Messi. A goal that officially moved him past Miroslav Klose. A goal that made him the highest scoring player in the history of the FIFA World Cup. Another record. Another milestone. Another chapter added to a career that already seemed impossible to surpass. Austria tried to respond before halftime. They pushed higher up the pitch and attempted to disrupt Argentina's rhythm. But the world champions remained composed. Christian Romero marshaled the back line superbly. Nicolas Otamendi won crucial aerial duels. And Martinez continued to provide security whenever called upon. As halftime approached, Argentina looked increasingly comfortable. The early penalty miss had been forgotten. Messi had his goal. Argentina had their lead. And Austria suddenly found themselves facing a mountain to climb against the defending world champions. The referee glanced at his watch. Moments later, the halftime whistle echoed around the stadium. Argentina headed into the break leading 1-0. And Lionel Messi had already written another piece of football history. Each touch from Messi seemed to inject fresh energy into the crowd. The atmosphere inside the stadium grew more electric with every passing minute. Argentina's supporters could feel that they were witnessing yet another historic night for their national team. Not only because Argentina were in front, but because their captain looked determined to write yet another chapter in his legendary career. As Austria pushed further forward in search of an equalizer, spaces began to open up all across the pitch. And Messi was ready to exploit every single one of them. At 39 years old, Messi was still producing bursts of acceleration and dazzling dribbles that left Austria's defenders struggling to keep up. The battle in midfield became increasingly intense, with players from both sides fighting fiercely for every ball. Challenges flew in from every direction. Fouls became more frequent. Austria committed to a high-pressing approach, desperately searching for a way back into the match. But as the game entered stoppage time, Argentina's system continued to operate with the precision of a well-oiled machine. And then came the moment that extinguished Austria's hopes once and for all. In the 5th minute of added time, the move began with a moment of brilliance from Lionel Messi. The Argentine captain glided past his marker before delivering a perfectly weighted pass into the path of Julián Álvarez. Álvarez raced through on goal and found himself one-on-one with the Austrian goalkeeper. But he failed to beat the man between the posts. The rebound fell kindly to Leandro Paredes. Rather than going for goal himself, Paredes kept his composure and squared the ball across the penalty area. Waiting there was Lionel Messi. Messi's first touch was flawless. He brought the ball under complete control before dribbling past both the goalkeeper and the final Austrian defender. His first shot appeared destined for the back of the net. But an Austrian defender somehow managed to block it at the last possible moment. Yet the danger was far from over. Messi reacted quicker than everyone else. In the blink of an eye, he charged onto the loose ball and poked home the rebound before the defender could recover. Goal Argentina. 2-0. The stadium erupted. The sequence instantly brought back memories of Messi during his peak years at Barcelona. The balance. The close control. The effortless dribbling. And above all, the lightning-fast reactions that allowed him to finish before Austria's defense could even react. It was another magical moment from Lionel Messi, a player thriving in his 6th FIFA World Cup. With that goal, Messi officially surpassed the previous World Cup scoring record of 16 goals and established a new all-time mark with 18 goals on football's biggest stage. At this point, Messi simply looked unstoppable. Because this was Lionel Messi. And this was also an Argentina side united by trust, chemistry, and complete understanding on the pitch. Under Lionel Scaloni, La Albiceleste were operating like a Formula One machine at full speed, charging relentlessly toward their ultimate destination.